Your boy PTK Blam back with another episode of the Shop Podcast number 9. I can't believe we've made it this far. It's crazy to hear. I'm on a ninth episode of the Shop Podcast, and wanted to bring you guys something special this week. As you guys know, I was on Mooch's podcast just yesterday. Big fan of Mooch, and we're gonna bring you some great content here today. I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to my boy Elite Gamer, having some scheduling issues with this job, so he's unable to come on. But we're gonna work that out. As you know, he's typically on the podcast. But also, I got my buddy Livewire coming on too. He's running a little bit behind, but it's okay. We'll get him in here as soon as he's ready. So let me go ahead and just get to the guests that I have on today. I always got a great group of guys coming on today. We're a little shorthanded, but we're going to keep the show moving anyway. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself. So let's go ahead and start with our guest here today.
Well, I appreciate the introduction, man. That was really nice. I'll be honest with you. As much as I love the podcast that you do, PTK, you're a good friend of mine, man. So like literally, I love gaming with you. And we were just talking about that before the show started. We're talking about getting on a Halo multiplayer, maybe in a week or so, whenever that gets good.
Definitely gonna happen.
But I appreciate you having me on your show. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
No problem. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I'm pretty much here. I try to get here every time I can because I love the show. It's fast, hard-hitting action. PTK Blam. So, that's why I'm here. I enjoy it. Be a part of it.
For sure. And let's go ahead and get started. So everybody, you guys watching live, tune in. You're going to see a great show here today. So one of the first things I wanted to get started with today is so we know the new Windows, the NXOE just dropped. Everybody's having great experiences with it. It just went live not too long ago, and I kind of wanted to get you guys' feelings on. I know there's some news that came out about the SteamOS and the Steam machines. It's been in the news on and out probably for the last year or two, and they're kind of competing in their first time with video game console market. And Gabe Newell's been making claims and saying a lot of different things, like he feels like the SteamOS is a better value than the PS4 or the Xbox One. But some interesting information came out yesterday about Windows 10 actually outperforming SteamOS pretty handily as far as benchmarks.
Every category.
So I kind of wanted to get in pretty much every single category, if not 99% of them. So I kind of wanted to get you guys' opinions. So let's go ahead and get started with our guest, Mooch.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm glad we're talking about this, and I'm a little fuzzy on it. I only read 1 or 2 articles on it earlier, but to be honest with you, here's the facts, folks. You're gonna go out and buy something that is literally it's not gonna be the same price as an Xbox One or a PS4. You're gonna have to pay more to get the equivalent, and I'll explain why. The OS system that Steam's giving you cannot compare with what Windows 10. When Steam did this this concept in-house and then preached it, it was 2012, okay? And in 2012, Microsoft was still running Windows 8. Everybody hated Windows 8. It was just a failure. I shouldn't say it was a failure. It wasn't a failure, but the public wasn't taking to it, and of course the media wasn't taking to it. So it was deemed a failure. It wasn't working out, and the gamers weren't happy. So Gabe and his gang of donut eaters all thought that maybe what they could do is come up with a better OS and say, since we have something here already with a great crop of folks, we can give them a better product. Well, what happened in the meantime is they pushed the schedule to the right, pushed the schedule to the right, pushed it to the right. Well, here we are now. It's 2015. Well, since then, Windows 10 has been released. Xbox One is starting to show its strengths. PS4, yeah, we know what it is. So it is what it is, but at the end of the day, you've got about 1,600 games that are available on one of these many ridiculous Steam machines, and if you use Windows 10 and you go build yourself an $800 rig, you've got over 7,000 titles. So you don't have the games when it comes down to using the Steam box. You're not going to be able to walk in and get a Steam box for $350. The Steam box, I think the cheapest one you'll find is probably $650. That's going to be able to run it. If they have a $500 one, you're not having a good time or a good experience with it. Let's not even talk about that piece of shit controller that they came out with. What is that for? Somebody who's lacking thumbs? Listen, I don't know what they were going for when they created this thing, but they missed the market. The PC market is already in bed with Steam. They're not going to go out and buy a $500 or $600 box. And if we know where the line has been drawn now. We're console people. I'm not building a rig. I'm not. And if I am, I'm not going to go buy that piece of shit. So I'm gonna go build something myself. Probably put anywhere from $1,700 to $2,200 into it, and you're gonna play 7,000 games. Why am I gonna spend $650 and get 1,600 games? Not to mention, out of those 1,600, probably 1,000 of them are just Mickey Mouse I don't even want to use the word indie. They're not even indie. They're garage games, OS games that are just brilliantly put into 4K resolution. So, I mean, I can go on and on here, but realistically, it's a bust, and it's something that a year from now we'll all kind of laugh at because it's not even going to be a third alternative. We're all sitting here saying, well, I own an Xbox One, you may own a PS4, you may even have a rig. But you know what you don't? Now you're discussing, maybe I'll buy a Nintendo NX. Maybe I'll buy a Wii U. I'll get in late into a generation to get some of the great first party that Nintendo has to offer. But you're certainly not going to go drop $600-700 on the Steam box that doesn't do anything but play multiplats and garage games. I think really this is one of those times where Gabe's going to end up putting his foot in his mouth. He's going to have to put his tail behind his legs, and this actually will be better for Microsoft in the long run because I think Phil Spencer could take advantage of this.
Yeah, and I think he was a little short-sighted when he said that. You're supposed to, obviously, he is the head of, that company. He's supposed to market and promote and say, okay, my product is better than yours. But I think he was a little short-sighted when he said, I don't think he anticipated Windows 10 being as good as it actually is. I mean, when you see those benchmarks, it's a clear difference between, those games running, and these are PC games here. So that's their territory. You know what I'm saying? These are PC games running on Ultra, on these not dedicated servers, but these high-end PCs, and it's still handily outperforming SteamOS, which is really built for a PC. Windows 10 is also too, but it's still handily beating it. So I was pretty that's pretty funny to me. But go ahead, Tim. Let's see what you think about that.
Well, I thought it's very interesting that you brought it up to me because it makes a lot of sense, being that. A lot of people underestimated Microsoft for a little, I guess, during the dark ages, as they call them, whatever, dark time. But now it's, they're showing what they're made of, and they have the right idea with Windows 10. They are basically, Windows 10 is always going to get upgraded. It's always going to get updated. They are pushing drivers. They're pushing everything. To get better, and right now they're already ahead of Steam. I don't really see Steam catching up. They have DirectX 12. This is going to really kick off next year. You're going to finally see some.
Isn't Steam Linux also Linux based?
I don't know. I don't know, but I have no idea. But
I think I read that. I'm pretty sure the SteamOS is. Somebody can correct me down in the comments of the video if I'm wrong, but it may be Linux based, at least for the Steam machine.
But overall, yeah, I mean, it is what is expected. I think at this point, I think Microsoft's just as a company is just firing on all cylinders. They're bringing the heat, and this is Steam's first jump into this, so they're just going to have to take their hits and just try to keep getting better and better. Microsoft set a high bar. Steam's, I don't like the design of the controller either. I don't understand that. But
you think they may come out with a different one that would actually, maybe a couple different controllers possibly?
Yeah, that's only like, I saw it. Didn't even go past like 50 on Amazon. It's like $50. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't look good. I mean, would you want to play with that? Be honest.
I don't know. I mean, it'd have to be pretty accurate if it's all touch. That thing would have to be dead on accurate.
They were trying to mimic the effects of a mouse. Okay, now listen.
Yeah.
If anybody who's listening to the show, or actually even the guys right now on the panel, if you will, just try to take your mouse and you see where you run off onto the edge of your mouse pad, or your mouse gets stuck on your pad and it's just kind of not really reacting. That same thing's going to happen with your thumb as you move it across. Eventually, that's going to stop. You don't have that issue with the analog sticks. You can do an automatic reset. You let go and quickly touch again, and you go. With this here, your thumb slides over into this made like a small canyon, and as you go over, you have to lift it up, go all the way over to the left. You've lost time. This is not, listen, we're not doing point and click. They're trying to compete with Microsoft and Sony, yet what did they say? We're making a controller that mimics a mouse and keyboard. Sorry, wrong group of people again. The other problem I got with it is, let's answer your question, PTK. You said, do you think they'll come out with another version of it? Here's the thing. They can't, because the other version is called the Xbox One controller. So it is right. It is, yeah, exactly, the Elite controller. So realistically, they don't have anything really to counter it with. Look at how Sony didn't change their analog sticks for one main reason. There's only one other place to put it, and the Xbox has it. So
Yeah,
they didn't
that's
want to. You know, if Sony PS4 came out with the analog sticks in the placement that the Xbox has, you would have people being like, oh wow, Sony really kind of bowed down to Xbox. Be like, wow, you guys, even though we came out with these controllers first, you know, this different idea of having dual analog, you perfected it. So they stuck with their guns and they kept everything. And that's the other thing I can't understand. I'm really taking this conversation off kilter. Is I don't understand. I've had a PS3, I have a PS4. How do you people play with the analog sticks where your thumbs touch? I still don't understand. You know what I mean? That's almost like PTK. If you say to me, listen, Mooch, I want to bet you $100. I'm going to beat you in multiplayer Titanfall. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie your thumbs together. And I'm like, yeah, that ain't fair, man. That ain't fair, but all right, I'll play. You know, it's like I don't understand how the hell I'm supposed to react. My reaction time's slower. It feels weird. It's just an odd thing. And I don't like the PS4 controller. I certainly don't like this thing that Steam put out. I mean,
and I mean, and another thing is too, one of the biggest issues, another problem I have with Steam is that I remember them saying that they're going to have like 5 different companies making these different SKUs of the Steam machine. You got HP making one, you got Dell making one. So I think there may be a little bit of a manufacturing difference between each one. You know, you have each one, like you said, there may be a base one that starts at maybe $600-700. You know, then when it goes up, right now you can get on Newegg and make a really nice rig for the same exact price.
That's right.
That's probably going to have better specs than that base model Steam machine. So I mean, you know, it kind of kills the whole point of having those different SKUs. I mean, you're pricing yourself out the market at this point.
That's correct. I mean, the PS4 is basically off-the-shelf parts. Okay, so there's no reason that you as a consumer can't go on to Newegg and go, like you just said, make your own rig, and you can make one that's probably $700-800. That's quite powerful, to be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then you go ahead and pick yourself an Elite controller up and pop that Wi-Fi dongle into that thing, and you're good to go. I mean, Bluetooth, excuse me, and you're good to go, man. You're just playing. You're enjoying everything that's not an Xbox exclusive in whatever resolution that you bought your components to accept. But I mean, I really don't. Man, I'll tell you, I don't see how this is going to hang around. The other thing you said is since it's an open source item, okay. That's the problem. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, a lot of people say to me, "Why do you like iPhone?" You know, why I like structure. I like order. I've always been that type of person. And so when Apple regulates what apps can go on their phone, I like that Microsoft's in control of their ecosystem. Okay, same thing with Apple with their phones. Now you're telling me that, like you said, Hewlett-Packard, Alienware, blah blah blah, Dell. You know, everybody can make one. Well, not everybody makes them the same. Some people make things better, and the average consumer doesn't really know what the hell the three of us are talking about. You know, they just go in, they're like, oh, I heard I can buy basically a PC rig all set up now for $500. You just got stamped on your head like taken. You know what I mean? Because like you don't even know. You're walking in giving them $500. When you buy into Xbox One, you have the Mike Ibarra team. You have this team. You have Phil's team. You have Aaron's team. These people are looking out for you. And you know, people go, "Oh, you're corporate slave." No, we're not corporate slave. What we are is I want to put my money into an investment. Forget about it being Xbox One. If you go up and see an investor for your money and you want to buy stocks, you want somebody to watch your money, right? You want someone to take your money and watch it. These people are watching it. When you put it into free public, free code, free source, you don't know what you're getting, you know?
Yeah, you never know.
That's the problem I got with it.
Good point. Good point. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on that topic. I mean, like I said, just to kind of wrap that up, I mean, pretty much looks like, I mean, we're going to wait and see. I mean, we've been waiting. They've been announcing these different things, and I think the OS just released, I think, like earlier this month. I'm not exactly sure. Somebody may correct me on that, but I'm just going to wait and see. I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that market, but let's go ahead and move on. So the next topic I wanted to actually touch on was really something that was mentioned earlier. I believe it was earlier this week. Some of you listeners may have already heard it, but the PlayStation marketing manager, I can't remember her name exactly off the top of my head, but she kind of came out and was stating that this generation, I'm assuming because of the marketing deals that have been in place, like Call of Duty, Destiny deals, that a lot of the shooter crowd are moving over to PlayStation 4. Now, if we just want to look at this, you know, in a fanboy type way, we can say, okay, that may be the case or it may not. But if you even look at, you know, the data that we currently have, and I'm not really huge on data, but if you look at it, you know, if you look at the pre-game or pre-sale orders for Black Ops, they were fairly even between the two consoles. So, which is probably, well, outside of Halo, probably the biggest shooter to come out this year. So I don't think that really is the case, but I want to go ahead and get you guys' opinion on what he said. Let's go ahead and get started with Tim.
Well, my opinion is that I could see some truth to that of the article, but you know, you see Halo numbers; they're still amazing. They made a lot of money, but the not as many people did buy it as much as Halo 3 units. That's a first-person shooter. So you do have these guys that are salty 360 guys that just won't give in, and they're sticking with PlayStation 4 at the moment. So I do think that there is a percentage lost. But I think overall, the way Microsoft's going with the Elite controller, with the esports tournaments, with Halo 5 being the way it is, you know, you know, people were quick to bring up all the stuff about Halo 5, but this Halo 5 is going to have a ton of legs. You know, it's going to be selling throughout till Halo 6, and Halo 6 is just going to blow your doors off. So, you know, people, you know, the bottom line is that I think Microsoft took a little bit of a hit, but in the end, when you can play on an Elite or just everything with Xbox the way it is, the layout of the controller is better for first-person shooters. I think you're going to start to get those guys that were 360 guys to come over, and it's just a little bit that some did move over, but that's just the market that it is today. But I don't think it's something where this is gonna you know,
be like a
continue,
big cap or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna grow. I do think that that Microsoft just as it's getting, you know, as overall the difference in margin of PS4s to Xbox, as it grows, you know, I do find that the central core of this Xbox and just Xbox in general is first-person shooters. So I do expect, I realize what the article's saying, but I do expect that to change a little with the direction that Xbox is going right now, especially with esports, and the Elite controller is just a real game changer.
All right, for sure. What you think about that, Mooch?
Listen, I've said this since day one. I said it before E3. I'll say it again. Whenever something big is going on for Microsoft, Sony so far has had no real answer. So what do they use? They use propaganda. They use slogans. They use catchy phrases like, we're going to come out with a PS4 Part 2 with a stronger GPU. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not doing anything like that. You know, then they come out and they say, well, the shooters are all coming over here. Well, right after you said that, like literally somebody hit enter on a keyboard, and then $400 million in sales in 6 business days for Halo 5 pop up. So no, actually, you're wrong again. They're not coming over to you. What happens is that you got an influx, and that first 10 to 12 million people for PS4 that bought into the hype and rode the media train right into Best Buy and Toys R Us and bought those consoles. They're all they ever do. I actually sit back and I laugh. It's funny because not a lot of things in life actually make you laugh anymore. Sitcoms aren't even sitcoms anymore. Everything's just reality TV. So it's funny when Sony makes a comment like this. You can get a really good belly laugh if you're into this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like they literally say these things and immediately listen. When you're an executive for any big company, when you say something, you're gonna get like quoted, and then press is gonna roll. I mean, that's right. That's it. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. It could be you work for Ford, you could work for Chevy, you could work for anybody. Anybody, you're a big executive. You say something, we're gonna print it, and we're gonna run with it. This is complete and utter bullshit. They don't have the shooter crowd, and I'll tell you why. Like Tim just said, we have esports. We have people that have been playing on the 360 controller, the Xbox One controller, up until a couple of months ago. I think that the esports folks for Call of Duty have been forced because of contract negotiations to use the PS4 controller. I think if you could actually get somebody to do like a 2020 special where we black out their face and do one of those special recorders for their voice, they will say, I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it. All my friends hate it. We're just forced to do it by Sony. And his name will be like, you know, Turd Ferguson, and it'll be, you know, they'll have to make something up to just cover his MO. But I mean, to be honest with you, nobody actually likes that controller except for the PlayStation fan base that likes anime games and Persona 5. Where, let's face it, if you're playing a game, even like a Tomb Raider game, if you're playing a third-person search and adventure game, the PS4 controller, DualShock 4 controller is fine. Once you start to say precision, look at the Elite controller. You know that there's a difference here. The thumbsticks are that important that they gave us 4 different variations of thumbsticks that come with the Elite. And they say for precision sniping, they give us the tall for the right analog. That's for more precision. The higher up, think about it, that's the less you have to actually move the base of that wheel on the bottom, okay? Yeah. So that is something that hundreds of millions of dollars went into research for this. This isn't me just speaking. This is fact. So, like, you have to understand that the shooters are not migrating over there. The numbers are only inflated because of that ridiculousness that happened between 2013 and the end of 2014. But like I said, there's articles out today that say this is Phil's Xbox, this is what Phil envisioned, this is what Phil wanted, and everybody loves it. And Tim nailed it. You wait till Halo 6 comes out. Now, do I think Halo 6 is going to be an Xbox One title? I could actually be swayed right now until I read a little bit more about it. I think that's going to be an Xbox 2 title, and I know that you didn't want to talk about this, PTK, on your show today, so we won't if you don't want to. But I've said 2019. There's been many tech articles by AMD coming out. It looks to me, personally, 2019 would be the latest. That would be the very latest you'll be playing an Xbox 2. It could be 2018.
I definitely don't think this generation. I think we've all said that at the beginning of this generation that it's not going to be as long as the last one with the 360 and PS4. That one lasted. That one's still going on, I guess, technically, and it's that was 10+ years. So I definitely do believe that this one will be quite a bit shorter, maybe 6-7 years max, because of the way technology is moving, and just the gamers nowadays are ADD. They're just kind of, what have you done for me lately type crowd, and the industry's just moving in that direction. But as far as the disparity between first-person shooter, the shooter crowd, I mean, initially, obviously, you get the COD deal. You're gonna get a big influx of COD players, but I don't think it's gonna be as huge a jump as, and that shows in the pre-orders. I mean, the pre-orders were fairly even. I think it was somewhere around 48%, PlayStation 42%, something like that for Xbox One, something like that. But it was fairly even. I think Call of Duty is just synonymous with Xbox. It's been on the Xbox platform forever as the lead platform, and like you said, I mean, with the Elite controller coming out, the fact that Microsoft did have that deal with SCUF, or I don't know if they bought SCUF, but they had a deal with SCUF, which is huge in the pro crowd. Everybody uses SCUF. You're not using SCUF on that level, you're pretty much gimping yourself. So Microsoft having that deal in place, and the fact that they're just synonymous with the Xbox platform, I don't really think it's going to be that big of a jump. I think there are, like Tim said, a lot of people did move over. Initially, because that DLC does get some people to move over, as it did with the Xbox 360 before, but I don't think it's going to be as big as a gap, and I think just Xbox Live itself, in my opinion, like I said before, is just a better network, more stable network, a lot more features. It's big with esports. Think about the fact that the Halo purse, as far as winning that tournament, just went up by $500,000. Yeah. It's 1.5 now.
Yeah, they're going to make it.
I think that's the biggest esports purse on the circuit as far as winning. That's bigger than COD. So, I mean, you can't really, it's hard to say that the shooter crowd's moving over when you got this huge game that just came out. And, 1.5 million, that's a lot of money for those esports players.
Also, what is Sony gonna, what are Sony fans going to buy otherwise? It's not like they have much. They're going to, right now, this year, they're going to buy all shooters because they don't have exclusives really that are going to sell a lot. So, I just think the number's a little skewed. I think if you're talking about mind share, I think everyone knows that Microsoft's the place for first-person shooters. And to me, I just can't see Sony keeping up with Microsoft in that regard, especially with Microsoft looking to push esports and use all that marketing money that Call of Duty that they gave to Sony, that basically netted Sony maybe 5% of the market. You do the math. Microsoft looks like Phil did a good job there. Yeah. Because he hedged his bet and said, you know what? I know that they're going to buy Call of Duty because I know they don't want to play on PlayStation Network. And they don't want to play on that controller. We might lose some, but you know what? I could use $70 million for Recore, and I could use $70 million for Elite. So that's the type of leadership and move that I see that Phil made. That was a good one. Overall, looking at it, Battlefront was never really theirs, but the COD deal, I think Phil knocked that home for all the bullshit that's going on. That now that Sony guys are loving Doritos and drinking down Mountain Dews and loving loving Taco Bell. It really didn't do them that great. So to me, that's a winner of a deal for Phil to push that aside.
Yeah, it's addition by subtraction.
Right.
Outstanding.
Yep, pretty much. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Great discussion there. So, the next thing I want to talk about is a little something different. We had Mooch had Bites of Chicken yesterday. Shout out to Jay. He may be listening. He just DM'd me not too long, said he'd be listening. So shout out to Jay. And it kind of got me intrigued as far as the indie scene. I know we don't really talk about indies. We kind of sweep them under the rug sometimes. But I kind of wanted to get into some indies that Xbox has coming out, and some of the games that I'm actually looking forward to as far as indies. And it's huge for me because I was randomly looking, like I said, at Google today, and I just happened to put in indies and just out of curiosity. And a lot of the games I've seen trailers for actually look like games that I could see myself wasting some time in. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not, push the AAAs out of the way, but in between, maybe a day or two, or a slow month, I can get into some great indies. And I just kind of wanted to name a few off. Some we know of, some are a little bit more, smaller. One is Everspace, Cuphead, Elite Dangerous, which is also already out. We have Below. There's a game called We Happy Few, and Inside. And those are just a few of the games that I saw. Oh, Gear Gauntlet, by the way. Shout out, Jay. That's coming soon also, too. Those are some of the games that we have coming out. I kind of want to get you guys' take on some of the quality indie games that Xbox has coming out. Not shovelware, but some of the quality games that we're seeing from ID at Xbox. So I'll go ahead and start with our guest, Mooch.
Well, I'll tell you right now, and everybody knows my stance on this. Shout out to Jay, Bites of Chicken. Thanks for coming on the Crossfire podcast yesterday. Another dear friend, somebody that I just kind of ran into on BGST, and then we've kept in contact. He's opened my eyes to indies. I mean, here's the thing about indies. I'm not going to backtrack on what I've always said. Indies to me are let me explain it because the word comes off wrong. I always put it as filler, okay? But it's more than filler in the fact that the indie developer does utilize these consoles for their powers and strengths that the AAAs don't sometimes. I will be one of the first people to purchase Gears Gauntlet, and I will be pushing that very hard because that is an outstanding game. Brings me back to my youth. It has that puzzle aspect. Love how the screen shifts with the movement. It's something that, again, you're not going to see in AAA development, and it takes time and precision. So my hat goes off to Jay for that. But the other games that you mentioned that I will be buying day one, number one is Below. I'll be buying Below day one, and I will be playing that game probably. Here's the thing. Somebody told me that it's the indie developer version of The Legend of Zelda. If it even comes close to that kind of gameplay, I'll play the shit out of that because that's just a game that I grew up. I love that shit. I will also be playing Inside because I've beaten Limbo probably, I don't know, 8, 9 times. I love the game. I had my avatar wearing the Limbo shirt forever. Then Phil Spencer came out 2 E3s ago and showed me up like I was just doing it to be a fanboy, but I wasn't. Wearing that Limbo shirt on my avatar forever because I earned it in the game. And then I believe you also said Cuphead is just a given. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone on Xbox One that's not going to get it because of the amazing art design that mimics that 1940s, almost that old Mickey Mouse, the original Mickey Mouse type of playthrough.
Steamboat Willie. Mickey Mouse.
Absolutely, Steamboat. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's fantastic. And I don't know. You said a few others, but Below.
Everspace, Elite Dangerous, We Happy Few. Yeah.
Those are not Elite Dangerous. My hat goes off to them. I don't know if they're even. I don't know if Elite Dangerous is necessarily even an indie. It's quite in depth, but. I do think that that's not my cup of tea. That's not the. When I say I like exploration, I like the exploration that's in Rise of Tomb Raider, not exploration like No Man's Sky, where it's I'm on my 750 millionth planet, and I notice that this has a pterodactyl head on a triceratops body. That's not no interest to me at all, man. I got no interest at all in that.
Yeah.
So there's different forms of exploration that are entertaining. And then there's some that are just flat out, let's use the word, let's call a spade, it's boring as shit. So, but those indie games that I just mentioned, I'll be a day one purchaser, and I am really drooling for Below. Below is a game that I'm looking forward to getting my hands on. I think it's going to be a great game.
All right, what you think, Tim? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean they also have Space Engineers coming, which is going to be another. It's a good title. Solace Project, which so yeah, they're they're also going to get Rocket League. I'm pretty sure about that.
I think they're going to get that too.
Mooch that's like a 9.
They won Rocket League for Mooch.
If you guys could just please let the audience needs to know its actual name. It's soccer cards.
We're getting soccer cards.
Thank you.
95% chance. So, my most anticipated one is Solace Project and Everspace. The indie seems to work well in the space area, and I like that. Sometimes I do like the being in space, and in Everspace's case, it looks like Afterburn, which is a great arcade game in space. It's a German small group, but they're from Germany, and you know how the Germans are. They're geniuses, and so I do think that game has the most hype going for it. It went above Cuphead for me. Cuphead, I just know that I'm going to throw the controller at the window. And just,
I heard it's incredibly difficult, which is great.
Punch that little train face. So I just, but that's going to be a game for really people who like challenges. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll probably have good humor, and Microsoft is behind it. So I don't know how that works. If they can give them money, but it seems, or give them time, but it seems like there's high quality coming our way in that part. So Chris Charla is doing a great job.
Great job. Shout out Chris, by the way.
Yes, Chris is a wonderful person. Met him at E3, and he's actually from Queens originally. So we were talking, or he lived in Queens, but he's really a good dude, just a cool dude. Really nice, and he's gotten a lot of shit, because there was the whole policy and. There was also that pay thing that Microsoft doesn't pay their employees. That whole thing, which was a complete. It was a program error that didn't pay, and they fixed it, but it was all over the news, and they were bashed to hell. But no, Chris seems to really have the ship, as is with everyone with Microsoft, the whole company firing on all cylinders. 2016 is going to be the place for Microsoft and Xbox for games overall. Just you're going to get more AAAs, and you're getting, it looks like, the better indies too. So it's big times ahead.
Yeah, and shout out to Jamie Moran, who's a normal user or watcher of the show. Shout out to Jamie. He just tweeted out a pic. If you guys haven't seen, Tim was talking about it, but I don't know if you've seen it, Mooch. If you have not seen Everspace, please go look it up on YouTube. That game looks fucking phenomenal. I believe it's running Unreal Engine 4. That game looks. Shout out to Rocketfish Games too, and Michael Shade, who was actually the CEO of Rocketfish Games. They're a very small team, but they're doing a fucking fantastic job with that game. Take a look at the trailer. Anybody who hasn't seen it, go ahead to YouTube, put in Everspace, take a look at that game. It looks insane. It's so beautiful. It looks so crisp. Ask Tim. Tim put me onto it. I didn't even know till Tim sent me a link. I was like, holy shit, is this a AAA? He's like, no, it's an indie. I'm like, holy shit, are you serious? It looks crazy.
Yeah, I felt the same way because I saw it, and like, if you watch it, please watch it with headphones. I mean, I know a lot of people won't do that, but listen to it with the surround sound on, or if the wife's out, or wait, because the sound design I noticed is really good too. So
my goodness.
You're dealing with something that looks good and sounds good. And for me, and even Jamie and others, this is actually leaping over Cuphead as the most anticipated indie. I mean, I got news for you.
Make sure you send Mooch that link, because I don't know if he's seen it yet.
Well, I'm actually checking it out as we speak, and I did check the news broke. I'm on YouTube just checking it out now. Now, Tim, answer me this: is it an Xbox One exclusive?
Right now, the developer has said that it's a console debut, but this is something that Microsoft really should. I told Phil already. I already told him.
Yeah, it's
try to get on this one.
Well, I want to reiterate what Tim just said. I'm watching it right now, and I'm muting and unmuting it so I can also hear the podcast. First of all, visually, it's amazing, but the soundtrack is stellar. The sound is actually stellar. This is like the true 2015, 2016 version of what we would expect anybody who enjoyed Super R-Type on the SNES. I probably put that so much my thumbs bled.
That's a good way to describe it.
That's a good comparison.
You know,
really good.
Very good, yeah.
It's an outstanding looking game using Unreal Engine 4 too. And it says here Xbox One, Windows 10. So there's on the advertisement that came out 3 weeks ago, they're still holding true to that, which is great.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people always said, "Oh, well, I really liked I can't remember that game that launched on the PS4, that free game they gave out, whatever it was called."
Journey? Was it Journey?
No, that's a spaceship game that just went left and right on a scroll.
But anyway, I know what it was.
It's like a 3D R-Type, right? That's it.
Yeah, this is like a 3D R-Type, man. This is
with the Afterburner. It really.
Tim, you got a release date or a roundabout?
No. All I know is that I told Phil, and Phil's like, I actually DM'd him about it, and he was like, I think it's an ID at Xbox Team. It's ours. So it is theirs. But
dude, if they showed him that demo, I know he was. That's why he said it was ours. If he saw what we saw, because I would have definitely go, okay.
I know it's an ID, but the guy did say that it's a console debut. So there's a lot of times, people can get these guys on board. It's developer. There's a little business dealings with there. So this one, I mean, I know that they're all over this Cuphead. And that's what they think the big game of 2016 is going to be at ID at Xbox. I'm right now for the gamers and the way people are taking to it. This looks like this might actually rival that. I mean, Cuphead's a strong favorite, but for me, it's my number one.
And Cuphead is locked up. That's exclusive, correct?
Yes, that one's a full exclusive.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean, just pretty much goes to show you guys, if you guys haven't checked out any of those games, just watch them on YouTube. I mean, I'm super impressed with the quote unquote, and I guess you can throw this in a quote unquote indie games that are coming out on ID Xbox. They're doing a shout out Chris Charla. They're doing Phil. All of those guys doing a great job. Getting this talent. These are some talented studios making these games. So we want to go ahead and move on to the other topic that I have here, and that is moving forward. We talked a lot about, we coming off this Video Game Awards, seeing the nominations. A lot of us Xbox fans do feel like we're a little bit slighted in that regard because of some of the nominations, but it is what it is. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, which is fine with me, but I kind of want to move forward. Let's just from what we know, kind of want to just play a little game here from what we know that's coming out on PlayStation. For Nintendo, Nintendo's kind of shaky because we don't really know a lot about. They're thinking about the new console, whatever the case may be. Oh, by the way, Live just joined us, everybody. So he's in here now. So what's up, Live? But we're just going over the fact that kind of wanted to get into 2016 and the games coming out next year. And what do you guys think? Just from what we know, what do you guys think the game of the year is going to be next year? This is kind of, I know it's a shot in the dark, but just from the games that we know are slated to come out, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, which is kind of shaky. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Live since he just got in.
Wait, hold on. Yo, boo.
Yeah, no problem.
Xbox mute. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, repeat that. My bad, yo.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're good. So just from the games we know coming out in 2016 on PS4, Nintendo, and Xbox, what do you think is going to be the game of the year next year? Just from what we know is slated to come out between now and the same time next year. Yeah, I know it's a little shot in the dark, but man, you got to.
Damn. I mean, I think Scalebound's going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Quantum Break won it. Or you know what? Scratch that. You know what I think that might win that we haven't seen yet? Recore. I think Recore might win it.
Okay.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Recore has got my interest at its peak, but that's where my interest.
The Mooch is in here.
Hell yeah! What's up, Mike? Good, man.
Yeah, man. Mooch is in here, man. We rocking out, man. You a little late, but I know you on the black people time, so it's okay. I'm black, everybody. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Everybody watching is fine. Yeah. So no, but yeah, that's a good pick though. I mean, Recore. We don't know much about it, but that game definitely, I think. The fact that the people who made Metroid Prime made that game or had some influence on that game was always fantastic. So we know it's going to at least have a great story.
That's my most anticipated for next year. Recall.
Yeah. So just good segue, Mooch. So moving on, what you think, Mooch? 2016.
Well, I've already put this out twice on my channel and a bunch of times on BGST. I got to put it with Quantum Break. Quantum Break is going to give you the gameplay that we all love in shooters and that exploration. But what you're going to get with Quantum Break is you're going to get that Max Payne slowdown technology brought to 2015, 2016. You're going to see this day's version of what we all fell in love with Max Payne. I can't speak for everybody here, but I'll let you guys speak in a minute. Did you guys love when I saw Max Payne hit the fucking? I rolled on the ground, man. I was like, this is crazy. This is insane. Like when they showed the slow time effects to be able to jump. You're jumping horizontally, shooting dual pistols, all while you're watching actually it cut through the air. They did this shit way before the Matrix. And they were doing all this shit. I was like, wow, this is next-gen shit. Now you're going to see them actually freeze time, and then you can move a Coke can, you can move a fucking chair to the side, all while time is frozen. This is insane shit. I think that's going to be the game of the year because they're really moving the bar. The only thing that hurts you is it really hurts a game when you're released in April to try and get people to vote for it in December. You know what I mean? A lot of times,
December,
we're in we all sports fans in this room, and I'll tell you right now, it's what have you done for me lately? So if you are not in December or November, people kind of forget about what you did. So that's the only thing it's got going against it. But my vote's for Quantum Break.
Okay, well, what you got, Tim?
I got I agree. Quantum Break is going to be my game of the year, probably a lot of people's, but I'm at the point where I don't really feel that Microsoft's going to get a fair shake with a lot of things, so I don't expect that to change. I think people will say, they're going to dislike these 4 22-minute parts with the video where you have to watch it and you can't X through it or you can't pass it in part of the game. So I think that it's going to be my game of the year, and it will be up there. But my opinion really is that, and this might be a little crazy, but I think Zelda has a shot to be game of the year next year.
I think so too.
Oh,
and that's if it's coming out. I mean, it's supposed to be. We don't know anything about that NX, and we're not sure exactly when that's dropping. So, I mean, I don't even know if it'll be within the time frame that they, because they give you from a certain time to like the end of November as far as like the Game Awards, as far as release. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if it'll be out next year at all, Zelda.
Yeah, but I think they'll give it this. Like if PlayStation doesn't have a game that's good enough.
Well, Uncharted comes out next year.
Yeah, like I said,
they'll give
PlayStation doesn't have a game that's not good enough. Like I said. They're not going to give it to Xbox. They're going to be like, all right, what does Nintendo have? We'll give it to them, but we're not giving it to Xbox unless PlayStation. Like,
I mean, there is a definite thing going on right now. I mean, I talked to this pre-show, and we're not going to go into it, but yeah, there's something going in. There's something going on where you just can't. Microsoft just can't get a break.
How
it's
can
just
you have Game of the Year nominations and not have Halo or Tomb Raider in there? You don't have to give them the win. You want to hate, you can hate. But you always listen. Even when you're talking about Hollywood, they're talking about the Oscars. There's always a time when there's all this bullshit that comes out the day after. They're like, well, they were snubbing this person got snubbed because they did this shit.
Right.
That's
Politics.
fine. But you still put them in the nomination. You don't leave them out of the nomination, man. You cannot have Halo 5 sell $400 million worth of consoles, software, and etc. in 6 business days and not put it in the category.
Well, they treat Xbox games like they comic book movies. To be honest,
that's right.
Like they don't show. You don't see those movies in the Oscars except for The Dark Knight, and that's only because Heath Ledger died. If he didn't die, he would have never got nominated. That movie would have never saw the light of day. It was only because he died that everybody was like, "Oh shit! All right, we got to give him something."
Well, I do agree with you guys as far as on one point that there is definitely a disparity, and I mean, we talked about this and we touched on it quite a bit on Mooch Show yesterday. That there's a lot of odd shit going on as far as with those nominations, and I was just saying that I made the point yesterday that I just feel like I'd like to see or know how exactly did they vote, or did they do like a random poll, or did they go around like a panel of 5 people and say, hey, what do you 5 people think about these games that are here in this category? What
was the nominees? Because I saw the one thing for next year where Quantum Break was like shit down on.
Fallout 4 was a nominee. Mario Maker was a nominee. What else was a nominee? As far as Game of the Year, Bloodborne was a nominee.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, and there's another one. Metal Gear Solid 5, which nobody at this point is talking about.
No,
you know.
I
So
think,
I mean,
in my opinion, I think in my opinion, Tomb Raider should be either of a Mario. Well, Mario Maker, I can understand being there, but Bloodborne, I just another. You know, I don't know. I didn't really play the game, but it's just I just think that Tomb Raider is the type of game that you contend for Game of the Year. The story on it is just
crazy. Yeah,
but they're not gonna do it because
they're not gonna knock out Bloodborne there because again, you know, this is the more popular console right now, so they have to cater, I guess, a little to it. We just got to buy our time. That's the bottom line. You know, it sucks.
The most unpopular actor in the world for a long time was Ben Affleck, and then when he was in Argo, his ass won. So, Tim, I can't really buy into that because this is supposed to be a true arts. This is supposed to be an arts department, right?
This is Game of the Year by the AP, or is this?
Well, that's what I was going to say. When we were saying who's picking it, is it?
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know how it's done.
We're fucked. I mean, flat out. I mean, you don't have a chance against the press. The media is listen, somebody sent me today on Twitter, they're like, yo, Mooch, by the way, this may be a sign of things to come. And they sent me that clip that's on IGN right now, that Podcast Unlocked. They were actually, and it does get into praising the new UI, but the first fucking sentence by that Destin Legary, I can't even go to E3 because I'm going to knock his ass out. First thing he says, I can't even, the minute he gets, they hand him the mic, the first thing he says is, he's like, well, whether you wanted the new UI or not, it got pushed onto your system. Shut the fuck up. What's wrong with you?
What?
You know what I mean? What's wrong with this person?
He never said that shit about 360. That's how all of them been. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, whether you want the PlayStation 4 UI or not, they pushed this bullshit on us.
It on you.
No, but
there's always a little kick there, a little freaking comment. They're all douches. I can't stand them. At this point, I'm ready to throw the TV out or the computer out the window.
You know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, like they don't influence any of our purchases. I know they do have a crowd that they do influence, but you know, we know what's really going on. So I'm not even gonna give them any time on my goddamn show. I don't even want to talk about them, to be honest. You know, but I think even what's more so crazy is that the most anticipated list also too was even worse. As far as having 4 PS exclusives and 1 Xbox One game.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's kind of crazy. That was pretty bad.
And did you see the way you voted for it, the front page? It was Horizon took half the page up, like the tiles, like when you do Windows tiles, when you make the tile bigger. That was like huge. Then Uncharted was right below it, which was huge again.
All right,
and then there was a little thing of Quantum Break. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Let me add insult to injury here, okay? Not only is what Tim just said accurate, and don't quote me, this was a freeze frame that someone sent me earlier today, but if you go to that voting page, the Quantum Break picture is from the picture back before. It's not even the Sean Astin picture.
Yeah, that's
the new.
Right
it's the old picture from fucking a year or two ago.
Microsoft loves this guy. Is that Jeff Keighley who's involved with this?
Of course it is.
That guy, you know, he's beloved with Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft, open your fucking eyes. I mean, if you don't look at that, how could you not say, Jeff, what the fuck? You have the thing up. You don't even have Sean Ashmore up there.
Well, you know what's crazy is he posted earlier on Twitter that day that he posted his advisors, and Phil Spencer was one of his. He posted a picture of the advisors of the Video Game Awards, and Phil Spencer was actually one of. He had Kojima, Yoshida, Reggie from Nintendo, all those other guys. Also, I think even the dude from Valve, Gabe or whatever his name, Gabe Newell, but they were his advisors. So I don't know exactly how they did this particular poll and picked, and I don't know if, like I said, that's more interesting to me than anything. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go ahead and just move on to my game of the year for 2016. I don't even want to give that shit any more of my attention, to be honest with you. But my game of the year for 2016, at least, I'm looking at it's more than likely. I'm thinking Quantum Break, just with the simple fact that game is, every time I see that game, I get a little bit more hype for that. It looks better every time I see it. Not that it looks graphically better, because it does, but just the way they're moving and what Remedy is doing with that game. Like, I just think, I mean, it's it looks crazy. You know, along with the TV show, which I heard, I've been hearing rumblings that it's actually going to be a solid TV show. It's not going to be like one of those one-off type things. It actually has good actors. It'll be a good TV show. I just think they're doing something different with that game. I mean, they're taking that bullet time shit that they revolutionized back with Max Payne. They're taking that to another level. I mean, did you guys see? You know what most impressed me about that game was that. Just like, did you guys see that part of the demo that they showed where he walked into the damn like warehouse and everything was moving and like fast forward, but he was still moving in normal game time. But everything else was moving like the day was going by, the weather was changing, the sun. That shit is crazy. Like that is insane. Like you've never seen stuff like that in a video game. It just gets me more hype. I just think it's gonna be a quality title. I don't know if it'll get because of the release date, like Luke said, that does matter. Although, if you look at it, shout out to Jamie Moran. He just shot me this too. Bloodborne did come out earlier in the year, and it's still right there on the Game of the Year list. So
it's a Sony title,
but it's Bloodborne. Yeah, like
I mean,
like,
even, I
you
don't
got
know.
dudes talking about I played Bloodborne 3-4 times. I'm like, the fuck, like.
I don't know. Is there a story? I really can't be a judge of Bloodborne because I haven't, never really played it, but.
If you like Japanese games like that, like my brother, he's a big like dark, from software person, and even he was like, man, this game is okay, but it's not even as good as the Dark Souls.
Well, hell, Dark Souls 3 is coming out pretty soon. Is that coming out next year? And that's a multi-plat, I believe.
Yeah, so
so it was almost like a Dark Souls 3 demo, damn near. Like, so I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've never been. I attempted to play those games, and it's not my cup of tea. I don't want to shit on them because, I mean, from all intents and purposes, I heard it was a fantastic game for people that do like that kind of stuff. But just for me, I don't really enjoy those type of games. I don't want to fucking bash my head with a hammer 10 times just to try and get through one 10-minute part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really into that type of stuff, to be honest. But let's go ahead and move on from there. So speaking of 2016, and I'm kind of looking forward to what's going on next year. I mean, I know it's 2015 is winding down, and it's kind of got me interested on what some of the things we're going to see next year. I mean, we know what's coming out from Sony for the most part. We know what Nintendo's kind of doing. We kind of know what's coming out on Xbox, but I kind of want to get you guys' opinion about 2016 and where we're going to be moving forward from there, about maybe E3 next year, some of the games that may be a surprise or anything. I know we don't have a lot of information, but I kind of like to move forward, because it's one of those things where I just feel like the industry right now is in such a good place that it's just exciting for me. And I think us moving forward, it's only going to get better in this generation. So I kind of want to get you guys' opinion on what you guys think we're going to see out of 2016, some of the titles maybe, some of the things you guys might see.
Oh, man. Who's going to go first?
You go first.
Go ahead, Lyle.
Like what I want to see, I'm a big Titanfall fan.
Yeah.
And I think if Xbox locks that up, not only could it be great, right? But if they add some RPG type elements to it, and I don't mean for like the story, I mean for the multiplayer. Like if you can be like, all right, I can choose my robot's head versus my robot's arm and shit like that, or like I'm in the battlefield, I get my arm shot off, but I see another robot that's down, so I take his arm and put it on, and then keep moving, like some shit like that, or like
add something, add an element.
Well,
another element.
What was the shit from Marvel?
I like that one. Blow your arm off and take from a broken down Titan.
Yeah, like
that's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
Or like how the Titan has AI, right? So say if you shoot the Titan's head off, then the AI doesn't work, and so you have to be inside of it for it to work, or you have to steal somebody else's head from their robot that went down to make your Titan's AI work again. Like shit, it would just add extra value to the game. Like Titanfall could be insane, but Microsoft has to take that IP. Like you can't do that shit on fucking PlayStation because you need the cloud to do that shit. You need the AI. Like that shit would be insane. But like if Titanfall comes out, what? I'm telling you, this should be crazy.
I want to say something right now because Live just hit you already know I'm a Titanfall fanatic, but I'll tell you right now. So I was just going to flat out say Titanfall 2, but Live just brought it to another step right now. That's a whole nother level that people need to realize. That that right there solidifies, and I think Titanfall works. Let's just talk about the business end of it first. Microsoft's been dying to try to tie in Windows 10 PC with their Xbox One and whatever other consoles or gaming devices they want to make. They've already got Titanfall as a household name. There's people already playing it on PC, and there's a lot of people playing it on Xbox One. It's a marriage made in heaven. So there's number one. B, what you just said live is fantastic. I hope somebody, Tim, you got to record that small snippet and send it right to Phil. That's amazing, man, because that shit. I was thinking on a lower scale, just to be able to walk over, grab. You know, sometimes you just shoot, and all of a sudden you're out of weapons and you're tight. Yeah. You'd be able to pick up the dead Titan's gun, pick up that artillery, keep it moving. So basically, what you're doing is you're giving the Titan a living entity. It's not just it drops down and then once the ticking time bomb goes off, you're done and you're back on the ground again. And you expand the worlds out. And to do any of this stuff we're talking about, and we can stretch this out, you got to have the cloud. You got to have Azure servers. You need to have Microsoft's infrastructure. You put Titanfall 2 on multi-plat and peer-to-peer, this game is over with. I'm telling you right now, it's over with.
Because if you have it as an exclusive, you can do mods. Imagine the Transformers. You could just have people mod Transformers in Titanfall. That shit would be insane, yo. It would be crazy.
That is nice.
Yeah, man, I think that's crazy. I didn't even think that far either. I didn't even look at it that way. Titanfall 2, but you're definitely right. I mean, Microsoft, you need that dedicated servers. You need the cloud. You can't do that on peer-to-peer. You're just going to – it'll be what it was this year. I mean, even though it was fantastic, it'll be just a little bit more. They may add a little story onto it.
No, they have to have a story.
They have to have a story. I'm just saying that if it stays the course that it is now and it ends up being like a multi-plat, I think you're not going to see – you may get a campaign. That may be it. They may not really change too much actually about the game, but like you and Mooch said, if you're going to do that, it has to be an exclusive. So, what you think, Tim? What you looking forward to?
I'm a little negative on the whole situation. I do think great points though. Great conversation. Great ideas. Completely right. I just don't see. I think Sony's. It's going to go multi, and I think it's going to be on EA servers and. Whatever, but if they could lock it up, that would be great. Make it a cloud exclusive, that type of thing. They have to get a lot of money from Satya, but yeah, it makes sense. But I don't really see that happening. I unfortunately see them expanding to PS4, and in addition, we're gonna have to suffer. I don't think that there'll be two platforms where you can play on Xbox, and that's going to be a pretty shitty thing. But on the flip side, we have so many games in Xbox next year that it'll be an option that I have to weigh as a consumer.
Tim, can I ask you a question? I want to ask Tim a question. Tim, I'm not saying Tim has insight, but he does have insight. Tim knows a little bit about stuff that we don't know. Do you think, Tim, that next year when Mikey Barra made a prediction that said basically if you thought backwards compatibility was something, we've got 2 or 3 things that are at that level, and we all know that back compat is a big deal. What's the next? And do me a favor. A lot of people are throwing this at me all the time. They're like, "Well, the OG Xbox back compat." That to me is the same thing. So that doesn't blow me out of the water. Plus, those games, I know a lot of people love the OG Xbox.
I just know Mike's just very driven.
Yeah, what do you think it is, though? I mean, what do you think is the big?
I think Mike's very driven. He actually mentioned 2 things. So,
what did he say? 'Cause I didn't hear any hints.
He said,
and that can you say? I mean, I don't want you to get any backlash.
I know. I have no idea. I have no idea what it is. But he said that it was 2. No, he came out on ICXM.
Yeah.
Windows Central, Jez article.
Okay. Shout out Jez, by the way.
Yeah, Jez is great. Where he said that there's 2 things going to be next year of backwards compatibility caliber.
Right.
So what are they? I don't know. I just know Mike.
That's crazy.
Just really.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. That's why I was wondering if Tim had any idea. I don't know what it would be. Like, what could be that big? And the minute I asked that question, somebody was like, "Oh," on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, that's easy. It's going to be OG Xbox back compat." I'm like, "That's the same thing."
I think family share is very possible.
Ooh, nice.
Family share is one. And the other, if they do it, PC streaming to Xbox. Those are the 2 that I can think of, but it might be something that we're not thinking of. I mean, like I said, Mike is.
Could it be a? I know this is more hardware than software, but could it be like a discless Xbox One maybe?
Nah. I don't think
No,
we're there.
no, I'm just saying. I mean, that's more hardware. I don't know. I'm just saying.
The
Yeah,
reason
and
I
that would be a good idea, but the problem with that is actually when all the leaks came out, it came out on NeoGAF from a guy called NT Kernel, and he basically gave away Microsoft's E3. He did say that they were thinking about that diskless, so you're not far off.
I don't know. It's just I
No,
don't know.
he actually predicted that. I can show you. I can show you the thread. He actually predicted that. I think instead they just dropped the Kinect. But overall, that is an idea that is a good one, but it would probably get killed by the media saying it's DRM, and that's why I think that they're a little afraid of it. You know, because it's basically all digital console, and but I would be up for that one. I would think that that's a smart idea. But the two things, I guess those are my guesses. What are yours? What do you think? What could it be?
That family sharing. Listen, me and my brother were just talking.
That family sharing, yeah.
We were like, oh, back and forth. I would love to be able to, like, because I'm doing all digital now. There's a couple games I'm still gonna get on disc that are games that I know I'm just gonna play and literally get.
Can't get away from it, huh, Mooch?
But I can't. I can't. But I went from 50-50, right? PTK when we first were bullshitting, I went from 50-50. I'm probably 75-25 now, and that's gonna bleed into 90-10 real soon. But like my brother was just writing me, he was like, you know, like Tomb Raider, right? Like if Tomb Raider could get like family sharing, and I think with family sharing, Tim, do you remember the original thought behind it? Was it like if I got the game, was it only I could share it with him, or you could share it and play it at the same time? Like you get two.
You get two licenses, but there was a little limitation. It wasn't. You have to realize that third party wants to be protected, but what they wanted to do was anybody would have their full availability to your list. So whoever you list in your family would have your full availability to play your games. Okay, I don't know. I think it was a 10 people limit. Okay, so you can have 10 people that you can designate as family. Those 10 people could play your license while you were playing the game. So you're playing the game. They could see that game, and I think you both could play each other. But like, say Tomb Raider, say you were in, somebody could log into your collection and play the game for an hour, and resume the next, and then it would start a ticker. 24 hours the next day they could do it. So you couldn't have it carte blanche, but you could have it where, you know, your nephew could play Tomb Raider for an hour, and and then you could play another title for an hour. It was basically a license, an hour per 24-hour block.
Isn't that kind of how it is on the PS4?
Yeah, kind of.
With the game share?
Yeah, well, they have to join your game, but they can't play it without you playing it. In this
Yeah,
in this aspect, you could be, Mooch can be on his freaking on some meeting in Pennsylvania, you know, digging a hole or something in a forest, and his nephew or somebody who he designates as family can play Tomb Raider for an hour, and then can play Halo 5 for an hour, then can play, Halo Master Chief Collection for an hour, all day long, you know, and it doesn't matter what he does. If he logged on, I actually believe you could play each other, or you could have two licenses congruent at once. But that was what they wanted to do, but then Aaron actually denied the Greenberg actually denied the hour limit because people were complaining, but for some reason it's okay with play. It wasn't okay with Microsoft at the time, just so you know. But Aaron actually this is going pre-launch, but I think that they could bring something like a big, robust family style where you can share with your family, you can share your titles digitally, and.
Is it going to be something where we have to wait for the publishers to okay it again? Or is it just something that's built into the license agreement?
Probably. Well, publishers hate that, so you know. I think it would have been easier with DRM.
Well, publishers might hate it, but for the past 25 years, I could have went and bought a game and then gave it to you and PTK and gave it to Live. Like, we've been doing this for years, handing we hand music CDs, we handed games off to our friends. So this is really no different. And by digital, at least you're locking it down to only 2 licenses, so you can't have it spread to all your friends.
Right. Spread to all your friends, yeah. That's true. I mean, if you look at it that way, it's really no different than what we've been doing, like Mooch said. But Tim is right. In the business world, they have interests that they feel like they need to protect. So it's a little bit more complicated. But I do agree with you, Mooch. It seems like it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because you are limiting it, the actual exchange of the actual game to a few people, rather than I can go to Mooch's house and he give it to his friend, and he give it to his friend, he give it to his friend, which is pretty much unlimited. You know what I'm saying?
It's unlimited. Right now,
I don't
you
know.
can buy physical disc. It's unlimited. There's no online key codes anymore like they were doing for a while. So it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I don't know. That'll be big, though. I mean, if they could figure out a way to make the publishers, developers happy and still be able to do it, I think that would be huge. That would be huge.
That's a good
That's
call.
something that they originally.
Hat goes off to Tim on that. I didn't even think about that coming back.
Sure, Tim.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well,
that's good shit. Yeah.
I'm trying to find you guys the infographic that was made at the time. I found one of them.
Yeah.
And I'll tweet you. But it was an interesting time when they were talking with the DRM would have had a lot of benefits. Put it that way. It's just
definitely.
They couldn't convey it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they couldn't talk. I don't know if they couldn't talk about it, or it was just the fact that once Microsoft opened their mouth about anything, the media, everybody just jumped all over them like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Blah, 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 blah,
well,
I'm like, what the fuck?
It was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of both. Microsoft could have did a little bit better PR job with how they went about saying it. Now, you got to remember, this is pre-fill. You know what I'm saying? This isn't
true.
Matrix still. So, things were a little bit different back then. So, even the worst thing to happen to Xbox, he said it, and he was ahead of Xbox. So I mean, you got to think about it that way also too, because I don't think anything like that would have happened under Phil's watch, to be honest. I don't think that would ever happen again. He even said it, when they interviewed him, when Ryan McCaffrey interviewed him, he said, "Well, I think we did some dumb things." He said out of his mouth, "I think we said some dumb things," and that'll never happen under Phil's watch. So that was a great topic, guys, and yes, make sure you send us that link, by the way, Tim, because that's very interesting, and I would love to see some things.
I just sent it. I just sent the info. That's one of them. This is one of the things that was being proposed, but I'm trying to find the actual one.
Okay, cool, man. Looks like we had quite a bit of people in here tonight. Looks like I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. It was a great another great Saturday night. Hoping next week I can move it back to Friday. Not sure what's gonna happen. Got to get with my boy Elite, one of my co-hosts, and see what's going on with his schedule. So we had quite a bit of people in here tonight. It looks like it got up to about 40 people, which is also fantastic. So anybody that got a chance to watch us live, I appreciate you guys coming in, checking us out. And as always, I appreciate the guests, Mooch taking his time out live, and Tim, as always, you guys are my boys, man. To the end of the earth for you guys. So I really appreciate it, man, for life. And we out, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. You guys go check out. Anybody got anything you want to say? Shameless plugs, Tim, Mooch, live, anybody?
Well, real quick, I want to say one thing. This came out. People were bugging Mike Ibarra about why Red Dead Redemption is not on.
Yeah, saw that.
And he was like, "Listen, don't talk to me. You got to talk to them." So I started a whole thing this morning with hitting up Rockstar. So if anyone's listening, say it kindly. I started kindly and got a little aggressive. But if you want to get started, start kindly, and then just say basically, I already own that game. It really isn't Rockstar's choice to let me play it on Xbox One. Xbox One is just another console that's reading my disc. That's all it is, man. So I own the game. I bought the game. There's no reason they should try to say I can't play it again. If you want to make a 1080p version and sell it for $45, hell, maybe we'll buy it again. But you shouldn't stop us from playing the game we already purchased. So I think they should release that and show good faith. And if all of us are talking such good words about Red Dead Redemption, guess what? People who don't have it will go buy it used. That's more, or buy it off the Microsoft store. You'll make money off that. So holler at Rockstar. Let them know that you own the game and you have the right to play it. I think the fans, Microsoft's smart to let the fans do the dirty work, because when the fans do it, shit gets done. And then, man, check out my channel podcast, Crossfire Podcast yesterday. Thanks to PTK for coming on the show, man. Thank you always,
man. No problem, man.
Insightful, man.
No problem, man. No problem. Anybody else, Tim, live? Shout out.
Just thanks for having me on the show. You guys can follow me on Twitter. Just search in Twitter, Tim _DOG, and you'll see a green avatar guy that's screaming at somebody or going crazy. That's me.
You can follow me on Twitter. My video's downloaded now. I'll drop it I gotta smack some ponies because they was talking hella shit, crying all damn week. Just crying. I was just
I
like,
saw
yo,
everything.
yo, they was killing me, man. They was killing me, just crying.
Holy, I know, since Monday.
The truth is about to get exposed.
Oh,
Oh man,
wow.
here you go. All right, everybody.
Send me
So,
that
like
link.
I
I'll
said
be
before,
watching it.
sure, no problem, man. Everybody appreciate you guys tuning in. Shop Podcast will resume next week also too. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And we out here, everybody. Like I said, follow, rate, comment, subscribe to the video. We out of here, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.
All right, peace.
Peace.